Is it easy to get a part-time job in software industry in Canada? And can you pay your fees with a part-time job salary? We will discuss in this video. Hey everyone, I'm your average guide Sahil Gogna. Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we are going to answer some of the most commonly asked questions about the part-time jobs because I have invited someone who has a great experience with the Indian IT industry and now he has good experience with the Canadian part-time as well as full-time software industry. So we'll try to bring up his experience and answer all your questions. So without any delay, let's get started. Hello Shan, first of all, thanks a lot for joining the call today.
Thank you for having me.
So Ravshan, before I ask you any questions about the Canadian IT industry, I would like you to introduce yourself to the audience, please.
My name is Rafshan Girwar and I did my BTech from UPTO India. So I actually work over there for 4 years and then I thought about going for masters. So I was exploring my options over there. There was GATE, there was GRE and there are Canadian universities. So these are the options. So I just print out the pro and cons, so which is better for me, maybe because of financially, maybe because of, country, which is good for me. So I eventually, decided to go for a Canadian university and I got a chance from Concordia University and I did my master's over there. Now I'm working as a specialist software developer in OneSpan, which is an internet security company.
And Lavshan, if we talk about your experience with the Canadian IT industry, so I would like to know, is the industry open to the freshers for the part-time jobs, to be very specific? And what was your overall experience with the industry?
Yeah, actually, for the starters, for the fresher, for the part-time, so they have to work a little bit harder than related to those who have some experience. So actually, I got some benefit for the experience I had in India. So I worked over there for 4 years. So when I applied for the part-time job over here, they actually, when I had the interviews, they actually talk about my experiences, what I have really worked on, and what they want me to work on. And it's just a overview of my experience and it's a little bit about conceptual and theoretical of the technology, so which really helped me because I had an experience. And then I eventually got a part-time job too when I was doing my master's. For the fresher, you have to work a little bit harder. You have to, for example, if I am applying as an experience in 50 companies, then you as a fresher you have to apply for 100 or 150 so on LinkedIn, on Indeed. So that should help.
And if we talk about the level of difficulty of your technical interview, so was it really hard or it was just the discussion of your experiences as you have told? So how would you rate your level of difficulty in the interviews?
So when I was interviewing for the part-time, my experience was they actually talk about my experience 90% of the time, and 10% a little bit about technology. And they are not they were not asking me about the conceptual question. They were just a general idea that for example, if you talk about a GCP, which is Google Cloud Platform. So they were just asking whether I have some idea about GCP and how I can use that, cloud architecture, and how I can use them related to their existing product. So it's just a general idea so that they can make sense of whether I can work according to their needs or not.
And I think the main reason that your interview, the part-time interview went so smooth was your 4 years of experience back in India. And I think if someone has that experience, then it will be easier for them to get a part-time job. And if I talk about your first part-time job, so how much time did it take you to get your first part-time job in the software industry?
As a experience, I'll say it also depend on your luck, whether you found some company who has some opportunity as a part timer. And I'll say for me, I think it took me almost 1 year when I came to Canada. So in 1 year time span, I found a part-time job, and that also by a chance. For example, I was doing a project with one of my friend in Concordia University, and he had found some part-time because he came before me to Canada, and he found some part-time for himself. And when we worked together, and he referred me over to their company, and eventually I got that interview. And since I got that interview, I used my knowledge which I gained during my experience, and I found that part-time. So it's also a luck, but it also a your effort. For example, you have to apply in every opportunity you can find over there on the internet. So you have to do it eventually.
And look, till this point, you have made it very clear that if you have some experience in the Indian IT industry or their home country, so it will definitely help them to find a part-time job. Plus, you have to be very thorough with your all the technologies that you have worked upon, and you have to be very strong with the projects. But if I talk in general, like you graduated from computer science in Korea University, and I know it's a very competitive degree. So, what was your overall experience? Were all the students working part-time in the software industry, and how easily or how difficult it can be? I mean, in terms of number of jobs available for the part-timers.
For the part time, I'll say it's not enough jobs for all of them. It's definitely a limited, scope for the part timers. But full timer, there are definitely, a large amount of jobs over there. Also, one point was that last year was, related to pandemic, so it, make a little bit difficult to, find a proper stable job. So I also have to, initially when I was working in the startup as a part timer, and when the pandemic occurs, the part time that startup company shut down because of that. Then I was out of job for almost 1.5 months. So in that time, according to my experience, it was a little bit difficult because of the pandemic. But eventually, when I got some feedbacks related to my application, and eventually when I got some interviews, when I got the job. So yeah, for the full time, I think there are a lot of jobs, and for the part time, you will have some difficulty. But if you keep on sending your application and finding the opportunity, you have to consistently find what are the jobs available out there, and you have to apply in all of them for the part time.
And if we talk about the salary of the part-time jobs, because a lot of students from India, they are coming by taking the loans for their fees, right? And is it possible to pay the fees? So are the part-timers paid good here in the Canadian IT industry? So what was your experience?
I'll say they will definitely, use that money for their living here in Canada, but I won't say that they will pay off their loan because you have limited amount of time to work as a part-timer, that is 20 hours. So this is the maximum amount of time you can work over here. And with that 20 hours, you can't, make enough to pay off your loan. You can use that amount of money to, make your living here in Canada. So that's a good part, I will say.
Yeah, and even if they are paid more than the minimum wage, so they can pay a fraction of their loan, like maybe like $1,000 to $4,000, $5,000 from their whole fees, but it's not possible to pay the whole fees, right?
I'll say my suggestion will be that don't take too much of stress. Once you have completed your graduation, you will earn enough to pay off your loan in 1 or 1.5 years. So I don't think people should take much stress about that. Just enjoy your masters over here and make your living out of your part time. And when you get over eventually done with the masters, then you'll find a stable job and then you'll pay off your loan.
That's very true, love. Because I get a lot of questions from students whether they should choose a college or a university. So if we talk about getting a job as a software developer, be it the front end or the back end developer, or in general, if I say like the jobs which are not specific to the research experience, so does it really matter if you're a college graduate or a university graduate?
That's a good question. Actually, what I think is that somewhat when people do the screening of the resume or our application, they might see what university they are in. They might see, what GPA you have. But it's a, very little impact, I'll say, over your resume. Once you got the interview, and everything depends on your interview, whether how you perform in that interview. And once you got your first job, from then you don't have to worry about which college you have studied in or how much was your GPA. You don't even need to write it in your resume. You just show your what is your past experience, and based on that you can just continue further in your careers.
And Lavshant, before we end our conversation, any final advice to viewers on anything, maybe the technical skills you would suggest them to develop, some soft skills that you would like them to work upon? So any final advice to the viewers?
Okay, I'll say you should be a master of one and jack of all trades. That means, for example, you should know a particular technology really well. For example, for me, that is Java. And you can do some sort of certification to prove that you have done enough qualification for that technology. For example, there are OCA and OCP certificate related to Java. So whatever you choose the technology, you should, give some evidence, in my opinion, that you are sufficient and good. You have good knowledge about the technology. And also, I'll say jack of all trades, because today technology changes, quite frequently. So, for example, when I started working on front end technology, we say AngularJS. Now they have, released 9 or 10 version, and which is completely different from the first version. So you have to, continuously add up your knowledge about those changes in the real life, and you should know what is that. For example, cloud architecture. You should know all of these things in I'll say basic things you should know about. But eventually, you have to go with the mastery of one and jack of all. And one more point I'll say, whatever new frameworks are coming in the market. For example, right now there is Spring Boot related to Java. I'm just sharing my experience. Those experience actually they are used a lot in the actual job. So you should invest your time into the new frameworks, and you should learn those, which will eventually help you in the job market.
Thanks a lot, Lavshant, for your valuable time, and it was really a great conversation, and it gave us all a good overview of the part-time job scenarios here in Canada. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you, Sahil. I hope it helps your viewers.
So guys, before we end our today's video, please make sure to like the video and subscribe the channel. And if you have any questions that you would like me to ask from the experts, please make sure to comment them in the comment section below, or you can follow me on Instagram, because before every video I do a Q&A poll on my Instagram so that my viewers can submit their questions and I can directly ask those questions from the experts. See you in the next video. Till then, stay safe.